are the implications of the trade desk's 100 list for publishers and
I got the
advertisers?
list in front of me. When I start to look at it, it's like this whole idea of a premium internet. Premium according to who? A premium according to what? It reminds me of a throwback to the Comscore ratings, where if you didn't have above 1 million uniques as a threshold, you just weren't as worthy of investment spending. And none can be farther from the truth. We're just in an era where much of what we do, where we make decisions, where we consume the richness of information is really in the long tail. It's not necessarily in the top 100. It's not that they're not reputable, credible platforms. It's like it's not what human nature does. And I think that's the thing that becomes a bit disingenuous because if you look at the list, there's a whole lack of culture. And I don't know in what world in this day and age where culture isn't considered premium because it's one of the things that we probably desire the most, the richness of it, the exposure to it. So well, I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, according to, let's say, viewability. But what are we talking about? We're in an attention era, not a viewability era. The war is always for attention. So do the top 100 gets the most attention and attention that leads to decisioning and consumer choices? Maybe, but not necessarily holistically based upon the list. So I think that the idea is that are we going back to 2001 and the era of the portal deal? And if that's the case, where are the portals? They're not even mentioned on here. So I think when you start to look at who has shapeshifted and changed the idea of the open web, in the last decade, there's an underrepresentation of that. Where are all the Web3 properties? Where are the AI powered ones? Where are the luxury brands? Where are the women brands? I mean, so there's so much missing from the conversation. And look, I don't have a problem with the idea of creating other gated factions of digital the same way we have gated communities. But it becomes a misleading and a misnomer to sit there and say, that this is the best of the best of the best for who and for what. And I think part of it is like out of this agenda, who has the most to gain? We are in an era where the internet has never been more diverse by domains, by information, by the populace that is participating. And what do we say to the global internet? So if you're someone in Nigeria or in Africa, or you're in the UK, is this your version of the premium internet? Because I don't see a whole lot of stuff that's contextually in language or in country. So I think when you start to look at where it's going, what the U.S. is trying to project in terms of expanding the advertising landscape beyond the countries that have the least amount of restriction, which has always been the U.S. and the U.K., they would not define a premium internet or a safer internet or a higher viewability internet the same way we have. So what does that now mean for global brands? What does that mean for global tech stacks? What does that mean for global domains? It's like, oh, our US version is in the premium, but our European counterparts are not. Like no one stratifies the world like that. And I think that's the thing that when I look at it, I'm asking the why. Why now? Where this is going to go? What we're going to do with this information? Because to a degree, the average consumer has to dismiss this because we don't live our lives in premium. It's too expensive. As I said on one of the recent panels, we live it in the everyday gas stations, 7-Eleven, Chipotle, nail salon, grocery stores. We live it in a regular average day in America, Chick-fil-A. And look, these things can be premium to us based upon how we define it, but would they mirror a premium retail world the same way we have a premium internet world? And that's metaphorically be saying I make a lot of my decisions on nascent sites, things that speak to me specifically, small communities of purists who are only talking about that subject matter. And that tends to not be on the premium list of internet sites on this list because they fall outside those domains. And that's the thing that sort of the head scratcher for me is to what this is essentially going to mean and what kind of decisioning is going to be made. Because I think the biggest thing is that people need to start piping up and saying, oh, is digital out of home not premium because it's not sitting on a backbone? Well, is the creator economy not premium because it's not a website, but it's part of what is burgeoning and driving the populace? Or all the social platforms where brands are built part of the premium list? I mean, what about gaming? Gaming is the prime real estate for premium attention that's not easily diverted. So it has a higher value proposition than a lot of platforms. Is that part of the universe of premium now? Again, I just have more questions than answers. But at the end of the day, on what we know.